Hey folks, Goober here from FactionFiles.com, and today I am very excited to say that this tutorial is going to go through how to use Red Faction 2 style, that's brush-based geomod, in your Red Faction levels. This is a new feature that was added in Alpine Faction 1.3, and of all of the features in Alpine Faction 1.3, this is probably the one that I am most excited for personally, because it adds something to the game that as a level designer I have been wanting and yearning for probably close to 15 years now. So I'm very excited to be able to show you this today. So first things first, just a really quick 10-second, 30-second overview of how Red Faction 1 style geomod works. So very basic. Our level has a hardness of 50. We can blow up anywhere in the entire level with our rocket launcher. Pretty basic stuff. Everybody is used to this for a very long time. This is the level that I just had loaded. This is just a basic box, and if we go into the level properties, the level hardness of 50 here is what's making it so that you can blast standard style, or standard size rather, geomod craters anywhere in the level. Now, let's load up our level that uses RF2 style geomod. I'll show you how that differs. So, I fire a rocket anywhere up here, no destruction. I fire a rocket right here at my geoable brush, destruction. You will notice that down at the bottom here, there is no spillover between my geoable brush. Wow, that's some awesome debris. Between my geoable brush and the world here. The geo is very tightly confined to only the area, or only the brush that I flagged as geoable. So that really is what RF2 style geomod is. It is brush-based geomod that is, as it sounds, it is you are geoing a brush rather than you are geoing the entire world. And it is set up here with this is geoable flag that you can set on your brush. And it really is that simple. So I will show you very quickly how to create your own RF2 style geomod here, or brushes for RF2 style geomod rather. So I will just make a wall over here. Now, if this was normal RF1 style geomod, it is part of the world. It is normal brushed. It does not have is detail checked, so it is merged into just the big mesh that comprises the entire world. You can see when I put my camera inside of it, you can see through the brush into the void. When I tick the is geoable box and then hit update, you will notice that is detail is also ticked, and then I build. You can see that as any other detail brush, this is no longer merged into the level. This is now built completely on its own. You can see this other one is as well. There's no join to the level. This exists independently of the level. This is a requirement for brush-based geomod because obviously when you start blowing up this brush, you start subtracting from this brush. You need the boundary between this brush and the world to be maintained. I will completely admit that it is a little bit counterintuitive that we need to have is detail ticked for these. You know, as Red Faction level designers for the past 25 years, we've been conditioned to see is detail as cannot be geoed. And, you know, I totally hear you. I fall into that camp as well, obviously. However, because of how is detail controls the way that the brushes are built into the world, as in they're not merged into the big mesh that comprises the level geometry for the world, this is a requirement. And is geoable will automatically set is detail, and is geoable will automatically be unset if you try to take off is detail. So you cannot have a geoable brush that is not also detail. Okay, so that is our brush. That is the entire setup of the brush. There is one more thing that we need to do in order for this to work, though. We need to come into level properties here. As you can see here, the level hardness in this level is 50. Now, you will notice a second ago, I wasn't able to just destroy anywhere in the world with my rocket launcher, despite the fact that the level hardness was 50. That's because when brush-based geomod, RF2 style, is ticked, the level hardness field changes. Instead of applying to the world as a whole, this now becomes the hardness of all of the geoable brushes within the world. So if I were to change this to 1, for example, the holes in this brush would get a lot larger. If I would change this to 90, they'd get a lot smaller. So this is controlling the geoable brushes, or the hardness of the geoable brushes in the level, as opposed to the level itself. And now before you show you that in game, because I will show you that and this other thing in game at the same time, one more thing on RF2 style geomod, you can actually mix and match RF1 style classic geomod and RF2 style brush-based geomod in the same level. Like I said, the level hardness turns into the hardness of geoable brushes when brush-based geomod, RF2 style geomod, is ticked. You can override that for a specific area using a georegion, the same way that you would have in the past if your level hardness was set to 100. So in this area here, there's going to be normal RF1 style geomod with a hardness of 50 because the georegion is here. So to show you what this looks like in game, RF2 style geomod is ticked, so I cannot just destroy anywhere in the level. I can destroy my geoable brush. I can destroy my brand new geoable brush the same way. And I can blow up these, or this area, using RF1 style geomod because it is inside a georegion. So that's it. That is RF2 style geomod, and I am extremely excited to see how everybody uses this in their levels. This is something that, like I said, I've been wanting forever. I have already been using a ton since it has been added in Alpine Faction 1.3. I'm really excited to see how this can be used. Just off the top of my head, I mean, the two biggest use cases in my mind are for performance reasons. You know, normal RF1 style geomod, you basically need to, there's a bit of nuance to it, but essentially you need to rebuild the entire world every time there is a crater. For, you know, you can imagine that that is not the most performant because there's a lot in some of these worlds, especially for more complex maps. With RF2 style geomod, you're only rebuilding the geoable brushes, well, really just that brush, in the level. For that reason, for example, there is no limit on the amount of craters that can be done via RF2 style geomod. So you can just have a bunch of brushes, people can destroy them, no 128 limit at all, nothing like that. So that's one big reason. The other thing is, from a mapping perspective, it allows a lot more control for the mapper. As you can see, and as I mentioned before, this geocrater doesn't spill over into the level. It only geos the brush, which means that the mapper gets the control over what areas of their level can be destroyed, as opposed to in stock RF1 style geomod. If I set a georegion, you know, as you can see, that area right there can't be geoed, but because the explosion here was inside of a georegion, it spills over into the area that I didn't want to be geoed. So RF2 style geomod gives you the ability to confine it using brushes so that you don't need to worry about that. It makes it a lot more practical to use it, especially in multiplayer maps that have complex geometry, because you don't need to worry about your entire level just being destroyed because someone happened to have an explosion at the edge of a georegion. It's just a lot more versatile for design reasons. So, now that we've gone through RF2 style geomod, I wanted to quickly touch on breakable detail brushes, because this is another really awesome new feature, or new capability that is brought to the engine in Alpine Faction 1.3. This is also inspired by a feature that is in the Red Faction 2 version of the engine and was always missing from the Red Faction 1 version of the engine. So to show you how this works, these here are all breakable detail brushes. This here is rock, this is wood, I think. This is metal and cement and ice, if I remember correctly. Obviously, if you were using this in your actual level, they would not just be spheres. You would have brushes that actually make sense for those materials, but this is just a test. So I shoot this, breaks a rock, wood, metal, cement, and ice. And as you can see, when they break, they have different sounds. When the debris, which is dynamically created based on the brush, by the way, hits the walls, they have different inside faces for the divisions between the segments. And they have different behaviors. So the metal chunks, for example, seemed a bit heavier. They didn't go out quite as far, whereas the wood ones went out extremely far. And these also react accordingly to explosions. So if I shoot an explosion, the chunks go out. As you can see, based on weight, all the metal ones here didn't go quite as far as the wood ones because they are heavier. So I'll show you how to set this up as well. So go over here into brush mode, and this uses the same function that we've always used for glass. It effectively expands that function. So whereas glass would break into shards, everything else here breaks into dynamically created chunks. The setup for this is very, very simple. Basically the same thing as we always use for glass. Tick is detail, give it a life value. The material is the new part. So I will show you what that looks like to create a new one. I will just bring this over into our other level. There you go. So here's my brand new brush. I will tick is detail. I will give it a life, Then I will hit update. When I do, you can see the material drop down becomes active. So I can now set this to whatever I want. If I want it to be metal, oh, make sure you hit save or update, save. And then when I, oops. And then when I play, as you see, it breaks into metal, and the chunks are dynamically created based on whatever my brush was. There's also this no debris tick box that you can use if you don't want debris, if you just want the brush to disappear. When it's destroyed, you don't want the debris to come out, you can tick this no debris box. I personally don't use that a whole lot, but there could be some use cases where you don't want debris to go flying out when you destroy your brush. So that's it. Those are the new destruction capabilities that are added to the engine in Alpine Faction 1.3. I have already used these a ton in some of my levels. I plan to continue using them going forward. I'm really excited about the new doors that this opens up for level design. Really excited to see all the cool and creative ways that you all find to use this. I hope that this tutorial has been valuable. Let me know down in the comments. Get in touch with me on Discord if you want me to, if there's anything else that you specifically want me to cover in a tutorial. I always appreciate that. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing what you create, and I will see you next time.